Part 1. From the Franks to the Crusades. Chapter 1. The Franks and the Birth of France. As the Western Roman Empire crumbled in the 5th century, new tribes filled the vacuum of power. Among them were the Franks, a Germanic people who settled in Gaul. Their leader, Clovis I, rose to unite them. In 496, after victory in battle, he was baptized into Christianity, becoming the first Catholic king of the Franks. With him, a bond was forged between kingship and the church that would shape France for centuries. Under Clovis and his descendants, the Merovingian dynasty ruled. Their kings wore long hair as a sign of power, but over time, real authority slipped into the hands of their nobles and palace mayors. Yet the name of the Franks gave birth to France, and their kingdom laid its first foundations. Chapter 2. Charlemagne and the Carolingian Empire. In the 8th century, a new dynasty rose, the Carolingians. Its greatest ruler was Charlemagne, or Charles the Great. He expanded the Frankish realm into an empire stretching from Spain to Germany, from the North Sea to Italy. On Christmas Day, in the year 800, in the Basilica of St. Peter's in Rome, Pope Leo III placed a crown upon his head, declaring him Emperor of the Romans. The legacy of Rome lived again in the West. Charlemagne was not only a conqueror, but a reformer. He established schools, reformed laws, and promoted learning in what came to be called the Carolingian Renaissance. Scholars copied ancient texts, monks illuminated manuscripts, and Latin was preserved. His empire did not survive long after his death in 814, but his memory endured. To the French, he was both king and father of their nation, the shining figure at the dawn of their story. Chapter 4. Feudal France and the Age of Castles. With Charlemagne's empire divided, France entered a new age, the age of feudalism. Kings were weak, and local lords ruled their lands like little monarchs. Castles of stone rose on every hill, symbols of power and defense. Knights swore loyalty to their lords, bound by oaths of fealty. Peasants worked the fields, paying rents in labor and crops. Monasteries grew in importance, centers of prayer, learning, and refuge. It was a world of division and loyalty, of swords and towers. Though often violent, it forged the medieval order, where power was local and every village lived in the shadow of a castle or a monastery. Chapter 5. The Capetian Kings and the Growth of Paris. In 987, a nobleman named Hugh Capet was elected king. His crown was small, his realm weak, but he founded a dynasty, the Capetians, that would rule France for centuries. At first, the Capetian kings controlled little more than Paris and its surrounding lands, yet Paris itself began to grow. It became a center of trade along the Seine, and its cathedral, Notre Dame, rose as a symbol of faith and pride. Generation by generation, the Capetians slowly expanded their authority. By patience, marriage, and war, they bound the great lords of France to their throne. The seeds of a true kingdom were being sown. Chapter 5. The Crusades and the French Knights. In the late 11th century, a call went out from Rome. The First Crusade. Across Europe, knights gathered to march to the Holy Land. Among them, the French were the most numerous and the most renowned. They marched beneath the cross, their banners flying. They captured Jerusalem in 1099 and founded Crusader states in the east. French knights became lords of castles in Syria and Palestine, blending east and west. Back home, the crusading spirit shaped France. Orders like the Knights Templar were born, their headquarters in Paris, their power stretching across Europe. Songs of crusaders and pilgrims filled the air, binding faith and war in the French imagination. The age of the Crusades made France the beating heart of Christendom, a land of knights, kings, and dreams of holy conquest.
Part 2. From the 100 Years' War to the Sun King. Chapter 6. The 100 Years' War. In the 14th century, France faced its greatest trial. A long conflict with England began, the 100 Years' War. It was not a single war, but a century of battles, truces, and shifting fortunes. At first, France suffered. At Crécy and Agincourt, English longbowmen cut down French knights in fields of mud and blood. Kings were captured, cities lost, and despair spread across the land. But hope came in the form of a peasant girl, Joan of Arc. Claiming visions from God, she led French armies to victories, lifting the siege of Orléans and restoring faith in the crown. Captured and burned by the English, she became a martyr and later a saint. By the mid-15th century, France emerged victorious. The English were driven out, and the French crown was stronger than ever before. Chapter 7. The Renaissance in France. With peace came renewal. The French kings embraced the spirit of the Renaissance, which had begun in Italy. Palaces replaced castles, gardens bloomed with fountains, and art flourished. King François I invited artists like Leonardo da Vinci to his court. The chateaux of the Loire Valley rose in elegance, blending Gothic and Renaissance styles. Literature thrived with poets and thinkers who brought new ideas of humanism and beauty. Paris became not only a political capital, but a cultural one, where scholars debated and artists dreamed. But harmony was fragile. In the 16th century, France was torn apart by religious wars. Protestants, called Huguenots, clashed with Catholics in streets and fields. The violence reached horror in 1572 during the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, when thousands of Huguenots were slain in Paris and across the land. At last, a new king rose, Henri IV, first of the Bourbon dynasty. Once a Protestant himself, he converted to Catholicism, declaring Paris is worth a mass. He issued the Edict of Nantes, granting tolerance to Protestants, and restored peace. France, though scarred, found stability once more. Chapter 9. The Age of Louis XIV, the Sun King. In the 17th century, France reached its zenith under Louis XIV, the Sun King. He declared "L'État, c'est moi," which meant "I am the state." His reign embodied absolute monarchy. He built the magnificent palace of Versailles, where gilded halls and endless gardens proclaimed royal power. Nobles were drawn to his court, dazzled and controlled by ceremony and splendor. Under Louis, France became the most powerful nation in Europe. Its armies won wars. Its culture set the standard of elegance. Writers like Molière and Racine, artists and musicians flourished under royal patronage. Yet his wars drained the treasury, and his grandeur carried heavy costs. Still, Louis XIV left France transformed, the very image of royal power and glory.